Now, after Earth witnessed second hottest March, the temperature of the world's ocean surface has now hit an all-time high, causing heat waves in the oceans across the globe. According to initial data from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, causing marine heat waves worldwide. Scientists say that the average temperature at the ocean surface has been at a record 21.1 degrees Celsius since the beginning of April. The previous record was set at 21 degrees Celsius in the year 2016. Climate experts believe that the current trajectory will head off the charts and smash previous records. However, a counter-temperature wave is currently on the rise as well, following a historical pattern in the tropical Pacific climate. The El Nino pattern, expected to commence later this year, is set to fully reveal the effects of increased greenhouse gas emissions around the world. Scientists further speculate the risk of extreme weather conditions and a further increase in global heat records. The previous record for the hottest surface ocean temperatures coincided with the El Nino pattern that occurred between 2014 and 2016. This is according to the NOAA data. Studies also show that more than 90% of the extra heat on planet Earth is due to the consumption of fossil fuels and deforestation, warning that the world could reach the 1.5 degrees of warming for the very first time. However, experts consider 1.5 degrees of warming as a key tipping point, beyond which the chances of extreme flooding, drought, wildfires and food shortages could increase dramatically. The world has already seen around 1.2 degrees of warming as humans continue to burn fossil fuels and produce planet-heating pollution. And despite 3 years of cooling La Nina temperatures, they have soared to dangerous levels now. Europe saw its hottest summer in 2022 with temperatures over 40 degrees Celsius, and Pakistan and India have also been experiencing a searing heat wave, where parts of the country reached more than 49 degrees Celsius. Ultimately, whether the 1.5 degree threshold is hit or narrowly missed, it doesn't really matter, as it is the first time in human history that the value is within reach. And that's really the significant point right now. Whatever the exact level of heating, El Nino brings some of its impacts as well, including extreme temperatures, which are very likely to be unprecedented. Currently, the moderate to strong marine heat waves have been observed in several regions, such as the southern Indian Ocean, the South Atlantic of Northwest Africa, around New Zealand, off the northeast of Australia, and the west of Central America. Hotter oceans will increase the energy of storms and will also put ice sheets at risk of melting, which would push up global sea levels. The heat waves can also devastate marine wildlife and also destroy coral reefs in the coming few months. For more on this, we are now being joined live by Michael McFadden, who is a senior scientist with the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. He's joining us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for joining us, Michael.
We've just come out of a 3-year La Nina event in the tropical Pacific. And so for the last 3 years, even though greenhouse gas concentrations have risen in the atmosphere, the rise in atmospheric temperatures has been tamped down by these very cold waters in the equatorial Pacific, which is a huge part of the world ocean. Now this La Nina is over, the temperatures in the ocean have returned to normal, but we're beginning to see the evidence of this increased amount of greenhouse gas concentration in the atmosphere. That's why temperatures are once again on the rise.
Right, Michael. Also tell us that how do you think that the warm ocean beds will affect the marine life? Which sea animals will be the most affected according to you?
The sensitivity to temperature is very species dependent. It depends on where you are, what time of year it is, what kind of animal or plant is involved. But generally, rising ocean temperatures push many species outside their comfort zone. And we know with coral bleaching, for example, if temperatures rise too high for too long, the one-celled animals that live in their tissues are expelled, which causes them to lose their color and their food source. And if that bleaching goes on too long, corals will die. So this is the threat of rising global temperatures in the ocean, which we are seeing more and more of because of the inexorable rise in greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere.
Absolutely, Michael. While experts around the world are also claiming that we might breach the 1.5 degrees Celsius agreement plan, what do you think can be done of the ocean bodies to improve the situation a bit more?
Well, we're still somewhat away from the 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold, so there's still time. We have some ways to go. So I think we have to keep reminding policymakers and decision makers and politicians that climate change is a real threat. Humans are causing it, and there's something we can do about it, and that's to decrease the amount of fossil fuel combustion and deforestation that's going on around the world, to bring our planet back into some form of equilibrium.
Right, Michael. Now, while El Niño periods help suppress temperatures across the vast tropical Pacific, according to you, which areas or regions will be the most affected at the moment?
Of course, when we talk about the global mean temperatures, we're talking about an average all over the world, but some places are affected more than others. The Arctic and the polar regions go through what's called polar amplification. These areas are rising faster than the global average. Land surfaces rise faster in terms of temperature than the ocean does, because the land has less of ability to store heat. So land and Arctic are the places we're going to see the temperatures rise the fastest.
Thank you, Michael, for joining us and sharing your insights with us.